Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today we're going to discuss the poll posters, politics of posters. I think if we talk about the election, poster is imminent. Anything the missing in election reason, sure, intelligent debate, banners, they used to be everywhere. But as the election commission's restrictions, I'm talking about the India, but this is matter of the global issue. So election commission restrictions on posters have become the stricter, and the reporting violations has become easier with the smartphone. Parties have turned to poster substitutes. So rather than the giant poster of netas and leaders hovering over you on highways and street corners, you are more likely to encounter them in the graffiti, cutout form, or even the abstract jibe at the opposing party that could have become one place. Recently, in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, in India and Bharat, I'm talking about the starring the political leaders almost filmy avatars in now in contra on less than normal size cutouts. Standing by the road with little with no next text attached. Seen here the cutout of the either so many leaders. I'm not talking the details on that, but other way. There is also ban in the political posters in Tamil Nadu recently. So walls should be clear. Walls should not be with the posters. Why and what reason? This is called the poster politics. Not in India. I'm talking about. They're everywhere. And how the Hillary Clinton elections when the poster was painted Australian wall, and how the election of the Trump, so many controversial poster also posted, and uh, paste on the wall, and how the pedestrian visuals, language of established party candidates make the two rare visually adventures and political campaign posters memorable and effective. Just like if you talk about the Bharat, Abki Bar Modi Sarkar type slogans with the posters also. How just to be communicative. Why and what for, how it is going to changes now. This is now digital age. Globally, they're going to be changed the definition. So how these posters uh, already effects on the election, how just to uh, go on the special impact on election we see, and there are so many. I think writers also writes books and the posters politics, the collections and the exhibitions also, and always we have seen how this poster politics is going on. The image and the politicians' personality, and how just the artists depict them, and related to cartoon also. Now cartoon is also going to the off on the newspaper and online. So how the politics of posters going to impact on the election, and how just going to be the word life, the poster of the different way, but we using word politics that is totally connected to the election. So, Mr. Lakshman, you have covered so many elections in the India, Bharat, and how just you analyze the situation of the posters' impact on the election, on the personality of the candidates.
Political messaging is very effectively done through posters, which are very sometimes very highly creative. And just like you rightly mentioned, that one slogan that I think brought Modi and BJP the maximum benefit was "Abki Bar Modi Sarkar," which has become which caught the imagination of the people along with the other promises that Modi ji made, and which caught the imagination of the people. And posters at that time were the most important means of communication, even though we are living in a digital era. The internet penetration and the digital penetration is still leaves a lot to be desired in many areas of the country. I mean, you just in cities and small towns it's okay, but once you go into the rural arena, the digital India kind of slows down. So, so big rallies, meetings, and posters, and like you rightly said, cutouts, in which South India, I think, is way ahead and very high, highly, very, very tall cutouts and giant cutouts are the norm. Almost they are hero worshipped. So, and these serve a very useful purpose for the political parties. And despite all that Session had done, he had robbed elections of the festivity by by restricting use of posters or including money. The festivities have gone down, but still, political parties have managed to uh, retain the most effective means of communication through creative art that is portrayed mostly by posters and buntings and banners. So they are most useful tools for political messaging, to my mind. And
Okay.
and
The
the
most
more
effective
a
tools
party does
for
it
the
better, the
communicating the messages. But there's so many controversy also created, Vandanaji, in USA last election and before that election, when the Obama and the Clinton was in fray. After that, Obama elected for the Democratic candidate. And after that, when the Mr. Trump last election, so many poster came in the news, how the poster was from the opposition party or just the ruling party. Why and what for? Do you think this is the effective mode of communication to allure the voters?
Namaskar to all the panelists as well as to our viewers. And I'm going to take little diversion on this. The posters politics. We first of all we don't call it posters. We call it yard signs. And so the yard signs means they are not impacting any individual's life. Like when we talk about Bharat, whenever you visit, I a person of a diaspora means I'm not aware of which city that I'm traveling to, like the suburbs, and I see it's like a administration or the suburbs or the government has put this is particular entering Mayur Vihar, but we cannot read it because there is a very big poster over there or the banner of a political party about the upcoming election. First of all, that needs to be banned completely. It should be walls, like who's paying for it? The We do recognize these are the individual political parties. They should be penalized for this. In the context of United States of elections, I just want to tell you, if it is a Republican or a Democratic party, we do have yard signs. So the individual, the candidate, and its volunteers are responsible to take off the yard signs by the particular date when the elections are over. I've just shared a picture with you on the WhatsApp how the yard sign looks. Coming back to the taking off for the personal vendetta or the political rivalry, taking off the yard signs and all, that does happen here also, but it has been treated, it's a big crime if they've been caught. Nowadays, there are cameras and stuff like that. And I recall when there was one meeting they wanted to have, because OFBJP is pretty active for many, many years in the western side of it. And I'm going to talk from the US perspective. So Overseas Congress, they wanted to have their Chicago chapter also set up, which is very interesting. And I'm covering that event, Alokji. So there is one guy who comes and he claims, like on the camera, that he's going. This guy comes from Michigan to the state of Illinois. He said, "Jab hum chote the, तो what happens? Like Jansangh, at that very time there was no BJP. उनके वो झंडे लगे रहते थे. तो what we used to do, उनका झंडा उतारा, उनका डंडा लिया और अपना झंडा लगा दिया." This is what he claimed.
Nice one, nice one.
Yeah, I mean, like, why? Because there is no penalty on that. So this is not being treated as a criminal activity. So then others can do it too. So the speaker before me, Lakshmanji, said this is very important tool when we talk about posters. It does uh, give the election manifesto of an individual candidate as well as the party meaningful. I mean, but what about the voters? Do they follow, keep a picture of that particular poster and check with their individual member of parliament that you promised this? Where is it? So, like every 5 years, they're coming. So, the poster, we can definitely make it meaningful, but it should not be troublesome. If I have an emergency and I've come from outside, I have to take somebody who's sick, reaching AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences.
Wait,
Now you
wait.
do have Google GPS in Bharat also, but sometimes due to the internet connectivity, that may not work. So then we depend on the road signs. So those should not be blocked. The posters should not be inconvenient to individuals. It should serve only the purpose, and there should be a deadline by when you have to take it off. If the walls of an individual's home has been spoiled by somebody, political parties, the individual has a right to claim that political party should pay for painting his wall. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
So just a painting on the wall, just to communicate the voters and communicate the opposition parties also, just to counter the opposition party also. Alokji, how just you see, analyze the politics of poster either in Europe and with comparative to the Bharat one, and how do you think this posters are now going to be decreasing now and all companies shifting to the digital format?
Good evening, Kumar Rakeshji and fellow panelists and our viewers. If the posters are going to reduce, I don't think so. Because it's an effective and cheap method of communication between the viewers and the the political party, if we're talking about that, or for that matter, it could be the cinema or it could be any kind of any event. When I remember once upon a time, if you took a train from Delhi to, let's say, you were going to Punjab, all over, on all the walls, it was written Dulan Vahi Jo Patan Bhi Dilai. So, it's a very effective way. It is stuck to me and it is still there.
रिश्ते ही रिश्ते मिल तो ले जी
28 बेडनपुरा रेगड़पुरा करोल बाग.
So what I'm saying,
India Today magazine did a 2-page story on just this advertisement campaign. Sorry to butt in.
no, that's okay. That's okay. So what I'm trying to say, it's a very cheap and effective method of communication with the people. You don't have to pay anyone. Only you have a very catchy slogan or whatever, and then you make this painter who goes painting everywhere. I mean, what I find, I was a big fan of these Bollywood huge paint posters which are there on all the cinema halls and even then. And unfortunately, like all this has gone digital, and now those artists. In fact, M.F. Hussain was one of the poster painters. Now that on one side, very nice. You have larger than life, like Lakshmanji said in South India. But then South India politics goes hand in hand with their movies. So larger than life, is played by Rajnikant. So he has to be depicted, although he's not been into active politics. But what I'm trying to say is, let's say MGM was there. So he had to be depicted larger than life. And then they had those kind of budgets also to follow, because they were coming from a film world which is a very cash-rich, industry. And then you're coming into politics and you have all the fanfare along with you and all that. So that is there. But in spite of all this, North India, luckily, we did not have this. But yes, we have this tremendous problem, which we can say, at least, when you start looking at it from a different angle, which is when you've lived abroad and you've seen that things are being done in a different way, then you realize that at the same time, what they're doing is they are occupying a civil space, a public space, and they're making it dirty. Now, this is very important. And here comes the point where you have to analyze it, like how it is done in India and how it is done elsewhere. For example, in Europe, what they do is every political party has got a space, and in case they don't have space, you cannot just go and put your posters on anybody's space, which means, let's say my house wall is there, so nobody can come and put the poster there. And it is not only political poster. Let's say there is a circus coming, or there is, some kind of theater happening, or whatever, a dance company is performing. So if they come and place the poster on my wall, there is a regulation that who's printing that poster, and the contact number has to be on the posters. You can call them and they'll have to come and remove it. And in case they have, made a wall dirty, they'll have to pay for the painting of that wall. This is very important. Now, what Mannaji was saying is, everywhere and anywhere you go, there is no respect for this in India. They don't respect private property. They don't respect public property. In fact, if you are in Europe, you will see at the end of every junction, every corner of any road, there is a tower which is circular in shape, and it has got a nice shape. Now, that is the place where you can go and place your posters. So normally people respect each other's posters, because let's say there is some, performance by somebody, and it is going to be there till 24th of December. So they'll not go and post it on top of it. They'll look for some space where it is not there. And that's how it is done for the political parties also. Now, for example, what they'll do is, on the post, they'll have a corrugated, cardboard there where you can go and post. And like Bandaji said, you'll have to the removing of the posters has to be done by the workers of that particular party. And after the elections are there, you don't see, the posters hanging there and slowly withering away with the weather. So, you could see MGM as a huge tower there, and then slowly he's coming down, crumbling down like a Ravana, over the years. It doesn't happen like that. So you have your election season, and then when it gets over, everything is clean, everything is cleaned out, and then you live your normal life. I think one of the reasons India is always full of posters on each and every wall is because we don't have one election. We are always in the election mode. It is not one country, one election, that you have the election for the central government and the state government at the same time. What you have is, like, now UP elections would be there, then there will be Punjab elections, then there will be, some other elections. So we are always in the election mode. And the political parties and the political leaders, they cannot concentrate and work on any policy they want to bring. Vannaji wants to say something.
Yeah. Namaste again. We were talking about not only the election posters, which are nuisance, because let's talk about if you are traveling by road, like Delhi to Haridwar. So there are electric poles, because it is all wired. It is not under the ground in Bharat, what I've seen.
Yeah.
So they have the cloth, the kapde ka banner, wishing that individual parshad or like a MLA or whatever
yeah.
for the festival. And that festival is over. Ek mahina ho gaya, nikal gaya.
Hanging on.
It's still hanging on. So then what happens, because we do realize bandar jhulta hai uske upar. The monkeys mania.
No, let me tell you one fact. There is rules for the posting the posters and the hanging the banners, but that irresponsible person.
Are they being followed? Is there a penalty on that?
Mostly not followed. Mostly not followed.
Yeah, that is what it is. Yeah,
that should be followed accordingly.
Because this is accident hazard also. What I'm trying to say, because you are just seeing the monkeys are rolling over, and I have seen it personally. I may have some videos which were traveling captured, So
that's the problem.
That is what everyone has to have a responsibility. As an individual, as a resident, as the political party, and everyone has to follow their dharma. Let this be judiciary or the law enforcement agencies. It should not get influenced that this is the son of an MLA or the son of an MP. Or the judiciary has to see equally, not on a caste, color, or religion basis. Thank you.
But who's going to implement it? Let's say there is a political party who's done it. He said, okay, now whatever Holi, ki shubhkamnaएं, and whatever is there. Now this political party, the Parshad is there or whoever that guy is, the policeman will go to him and says, "Apni auqat dekho," like, who are you to tell me? That's, if you have that kind of a culture, then implementation is very, very
That is
difficult.
matter to discuss the Alokji, the time of break and a break up.
Yeah.
After that will continue.
Please.
Welcome after break. Lakshman, I think do you hear me? You are not. I think Mr. Lakshman.
Yes,
Yeah, just
there's some problem.
your
Problem
picture
with
is
network.
not. I think whatever,
Problem
but your
with
picture is
network.
not. Your voice is coming, but picture is not coming.
Yes, yes. I'm trying to.
Please, whatever. I think stop cam just to click for on first, just to see you. Is it okay, Mr. Lakshman?
Now we can
Yeah.
see you. Now he's gone.
Now I come in, go. You're a technocrat person, so you can't do like that. Sorry. Yeah.
No.
He's a master of computers. I know.
That's the
What
reason
was-
he's having trouble. I don't know
No, no.
anything, so I just don't touch anything. That's the reason everything works.
Yeah. So Alokji and Bandana is saying, Lakshman, there is a violation of the rules just to what posting their posters and banners just hanging on the walls. And anyway, do you think that their rules should be followed? Rule has not following just related to Bharat, India.
Yeah, just like with all other issues, here too we just don't implement rules properly. We never followed it. Janta nahi mera baap kaun hai. I mean that is the attitude. So जब तक वो रहेगा कुछ हो नहीं सकता है. Okay, I mean just going away from this issue, but a similar one. Prime Minister says कि भाई आप पार्लियामेंट अटेंड किया करो. आज से जवाहरलाल नेहरू से टाइम से बोले जा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई सुनता नहीं है. जब एमपीज ही नहीं सुनेंगे तो ये जो
Yeah.
कल्चर है हमारा, तो दैट इज प्रोन टू क्रिएट दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ इश्यूज फॉर अस व्हेन देयर इट शुड नॉट बी देयर. अगर रूल है तो रूल है सबके लिए, बट हु फॉलोज, हु केयर्स? So that is where Bandar will be latcoing on all the banners and they'll be jumping up and down. Why
So
not?
how-
I mean, the person who has put the poster, he should be simply hauled up and put inside.
No, put a hefty fine on him.
Absolutely. You're bang on, Alokji.
But it is at Vandana is just quoted and saying, I do think in USA, and there is system, and there is a place for the poster. Only you can paste them and just hang on the wall, and whatever you're going to digitalize now, and so many posters. Recently, I have seen the poster in California and for the Sushant Singh Rajput. How they are just going for the Save for India and just as the Texas and last Chicago.
We had it in Chicago also.
Yeah.
That is about. So my take on that was very different, because I said, who knows Sushant Singh Rajput in the Western world? If we are trying to do, because when the case was handed over to CBI, so I said we are trying to humiliate the nation that we come out from. My take was that you want to do, there are certain things this is called internally that we can do it, but there, when you're going out on the streets, so you are exposing, because and those were all billboards, digital billboards. I may have a picture. I went and covered that. So because that was me individually thinking about. And then I said that you are trying to do, but anybody who's crossing that Highway 88 on the state of Illinois, they'll be reading, they will try to Google. So what will it reflect about the nation that we all come out from? So a lot of them agreed, but some didn't, because they had their own vision to do that. Because if we are talking positive about the nation that we come out from, so others do get that kind of message. But if we still want to show, like I do feel that we have a trust in the judiciary. We should have, because in the Western world, we have to claim that I come from that nation, to be honest.
So Vandana, you just look, ji. Vandana is saying judiciary. Why always in any issues judiciary should intervene, and what for?
Why judiciary should intervene? Because the implementation of the law is not there. Let's say I put up a poster and I don't take it away.
Yeah.
And the law enforcement agency, be it the police or be it whoever, they or the even the civil how we call it? We call them civil agents. They are called. They are not policemen, so to say, and they come up and say, like, for example, civil. What is his job? Let's say somebody is riding a bike on the pavement. So he can tell you, listen, this is not the place to ride a bike. You have to be on the road. And they have this authority. And in case you're not listening to them, they cannot lock you up or anything like that, because the enforcement is different. But they can take your, let's say, card, and they'll just jot it down, and then you get a love letter from the government in which you are told that you have to pay 150 euros within 1 month, and in case you pay it within 1 week, then you get a 50 euros off. So which means you have to pay only 100 euros. So people go running to pay their 100 euros instead of paying that 150 euros. And nowhere do you go and give a cash transaction. It has to be deposited in the bank. So there is no hanky-panky that way, like you pay me, instead of 150, you pay me 25, I'll let you go. That kind of a thing is not going to happen.
मिठाई नहीं मिलेगा. Pura jo hai, you will get the receipt for what you get.
He'll just simply put you, okay, this is the paper for you, go. Yeah. And then you get a very hefty sign. Now, if this starts happening, absolutely. Let's say any politician is there and he has got this banner and somebody takes this. Now, in case the policeman has to go, you're wasting the policeman's time, you're wasting then the law enforcement, then Aapka naam and all that is going on. So that is that implementation is not there. And since the implementation is not there, then we have these lawyers who have got nothing to do but to just keep putting litigations. What has happened in Kerala High Court also. Now then the judge has to come up and say that, okay, you're wasting your time and you're wasting the law enforcement, like the court's time and law enforcement's, and you should be fined at least 1 lakh rupees. So in case things like this start happening, which they have started happening, then things are going to get. And I think digitally also, like she was talking about the billboards. Now slowly what is happening is that all these posters, they are slowly going away, because first of all, you have to print it, which means a lithopress is there or whatever is there. And then, it has got lead, which is contaminating. Somebody has to go and put it, somebody has to take it off, and the space is limited. So with the billboards coming in, electronic billboards, when it keeps moving up and down, you have an agency who you're paying so that, your face is shown there for so many months or so many weeks or so many days. And in case that digitalization happens, the technology comes in, I think all this is going to vanish slowly. And it is not only the monkey which is going up and down. It is also, it's a driver's hazard. Just imagine, we don't have any kind of visual publicity on the roads in Europe. There might be some places where you can find it, but otherwise there's no visual publicity because it's a detraction.
That's what I said, that accident hazard, because it is very prone to.
But I thought the monkey will fall on somebody in an accidental hazard.
You're right.
Yeah. So that is the reason, like, implementation is not there, and that's the reason judiciary has to be tapped every time and any time. Because we don't care. I mean, just imagine recently what has happened. EC has summoned a very important actress and she hasn't been there, 3 times. And now they say, if you don't come, then we will send the law enforcement and you'll be forced to come. And the mother-in-law, who is a Rajya Sabha member, has created that huckus in the parliament. I mean, do you think this is a normal country? What is happening? If you have to abide by the law, if people like those do not abide by the law is calling them, the judge is calling them, and you don't even care because you think you are high and mighty, then how do you expect anything else to happen? So it has to be enforced. They respect the law and order to the maximum in India.
Okay. So actually, it related to all the. Please, Bandana,
I want to
please.
add on, as he mentioned earlier, in the United States also, we had like you got a ticketing for fast driving, speeding ticket. So Alokji is a law enforcement agency, like a policeman cop who gave me a ticket. I'm just analyzing. I'm just giving you a situation. So I can contest the ticket that he gave me a wrong ticket. So for that, I used to go and contest, or either I pay for the ticket.
Yeah,
Okay. And I
same
pay
here
for,
in India
no,
also.
no, no,
Bharat
listen
also.
to this. I pay for the ticket or I contest. And then there is another, this thing, it will not go on my record if I pay extra time, if I pay extra time to take a classes like driving means revival of my. So then what happened? Everybody started doing, okay, we will contest, we can get away. For an individual to go in the court, get away from this. But Alokji, as being a cop, law enforcement officer, at that very time, he had to be present because both parties have to be eye to eye in front of the judge. But he was busy with some other case, so he could not come to the court. So then I get a free because then they cannot judge, had to let me go. So this was increasing, and then they decided no, if Alokji also is present and Vandana is present, and there is a proof nowadays, there are videos and all that she was speeding, and so because and they both were there, so my ticket is legitimate, which I got for not abiding the law. So then what happened? The time that Vandana Jingan wasted for the court has to be paid by Vandana Jingan, not only the ticket amount. So that is where the law enforcement, now people say better hai $100 दे करके, because court में जाएंगे, so अगर officer आ गया तो हमको ज्यादा pay करना पड़ेगा, so they don't do it. So एक जो भय है, because that is also very important, we need to have very hefty fines where it can be done only at the law enforcement agency, otherwise your license will be suspended and you are driving on a suspended
Okay.
license.
So I think it is related with the posters and the banners. I think so. So Lakshman, just you also keep an eye on the economy and business, and as an economy journalist, political economic situation, you keep an eye. How just you relate this the poster politics connected related with the economy and the business? How do you affect?
The transformation that is happening in the post, in fact, in any arena of life, any particular business, even in poster, the transformation to digital has, and also the fact that session had robbed these festivities of the elections, has led to livelihood loss for many people, definitely, because the scale of celebrations during elections has come down. As you would know, how the banners and painting the flags and
There
everything
is
used to be there
there are
with lot
guidelines
of
of Election
color.
Commission of India how
Yeah,
just to
so
conduct
that
the
is
election, the
started
expenses
with TN
also.
Session. TN Session is the man who brought some discipline and some fear of law among
And recently,
politicians.
2 days back, the Parliament of India also passed the new electoral reforms bill with
Yes, yes, yes.
all the inputs of the just for NRI voters, for the a person who was in the military and the 18 years voter. So many changes just going to
Yes,
be reforms.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah. So
So to that
my
extent,
question is, I'll take Vandana ji and Alok ji, the last one.
yeah.
How this is related to the economics and business, Vandana ji? How just relate that? How to affect our economy or the business or promote any employment with these inputs?
You mean the posters?
This is posters and mode of communication, including the posters.
So when we're talking about, as he did mention earlier, it was that you are printing the poster, somebody is getting a job, maybe a low paid job, but he is going and putting it 100. He has been asked to put 100. So he will say, okay, I will charge 100 rupees or whatever. I don't know. I can't say the mathematics part of it. So for putting 100, he may not put 100, but at least he will get an invoice to that party and he will get paid for 100. So this is an employment generation. But when we are talking about digitalization of the billboards now, so those are corporates, those are big companies. So they are also hiring. So it is a change of a business model. Economy is definitely there. Your message is going across. And then for 5 seconds, because you can see very well, we had done many times for World Hindu Congress, we have done it. For Hindu Heritage Month, we have done it. And they can tell you how much visibility, because they have done surveys over there. How many cars do pass, how many vehicles are passing over there. So we know how much return that we are getting out of it, to be honest. So it is an economy, means like it is giving economy booster, like it is revenue generation for some.
Your mic is off.
Alokji, do you think like that? This is economic booster, employment generation, and as well as politics for politics with posters and other communication mode?
No, Lakshmanji is right when he says that fanfare has gone away. But unfortunately, there is lots of polarization also. So that fanfare has to go, because, law abidement has to be there. And another thing is that our lifestyle has also changed. I remember, like, there used to be this guy with the posters, the rickshaw guy driving it, and there was a gentleman inside with loudspeaker flaring away all the way. Johnson ko vote do, and stuff like this when I was a kid. And then he used to get those small badges which we put, or we used to have Gayan Bachada badges. So as kids, we used to collect them, and okay, this was kind of some giveaways which were there. United States, they still have these small little, they'll have mementos which are, it's very nicely done. But North Americans, they are very good in marketing. They are the aces. Now that kind of thing is coming. But what is happening is that when the stages were set up, or the tent house guy was there, I think India has now increased, the way tents are put, the way decorations are done. And not only this, in fact, when Modi ji stood for his first elections as the Prime Minister, the technology which is used, which means he was standing at one place. Lakshmanji will help me in, identifying this technology. But his visual image was being seen in 4 or 5 places.
It was called
This kind of
hologram.
technology is not being used anywhere in any part of the world. And in fact, there was world leaders who were into these discussions I was hearing too. So that we have a lot to learn from Modi. So it is not that the jobs are going away. Maybe the menial jobs are going away, but elections and the people who advise their election advisor, the campaign advisors, not only this, even social engineering experts are there. So I think lots of money has gone into this. And I'll ask Lakshmanji to come and explain how that, that image which was generated of Modi ji, he was present physically at one place, but then he was digitally present in many rallies.
Yeah. That was high technology.
Lots of money generation and lots of money spent on elections in India. I wish it was not so much.
Lakshman, you want to reply? Unmute yourself.
The technology, Alokji, was called hologram.
Hologram. I was not remembering the name. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So this is the first time, if you see the election of Bharat, the Pramod Mahajan and Narendra Modi, that time the two leaders and a very popular, I think here we can say just Jugal Bandi, and they have created first campaign of the Atalji voice, if Lakshman remember, by phone, just dial, "Main Atal Bihari Vajpayee bol raha hu," like that. And when you just phone ring on, and when you just push the button, the voice is Atal Bihari Vajpayee was coming, like that. So many innovative ideas, but with the posters and the communication mode. But as we analyze and try to think, this is also creates the, I think, employment, affect the economy and the business, and how some posters are also creates problem on the road side, either your wall side. Recently, the election commission banned the poster in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. So also not going to be, and also directed to the concern. You have no right to post up and paste any poster in any wall, either private and government. You have to take the permission for that. There are also law for that. I think so. This is the poster politics. Something, Madanaji, you want to add? Unmute Madanaji.
I have one question. Is the election politics, like, the advertisements are allowed on the television channels in India
Yeah,
or no?
yeah. There is provisions for the speech and for the advertisement and the poster, different modes of communication. There are
Okay.
already guidelines of Election Commission of India
Okay.
there. So how much expense, that's also guidelines. That is different matter. Nobody is following on that expenses cost, but they are showing the record. Only just recently, this is 70 lakhs. You can understand with 70 lakhs INR, nobody can fight the election, but the rules of election commission recently increased, and 20 lakhs for the smaller one, 70 lakhs to the bigger one, like that. So then there's so many things to discuss. But so nice of you just to join this
Thank you.
discussion, the political poster, and how this election is going on and impact on the society and our lives also. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Namaste.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
जब आने वाली पूरी है तब आप उसके और फिर मेरे को 2 ज्यादा पढ़